So we've already talked a lot about Ty Jordan and what he's done. Has this freshman class impressed us thus far in the season? Cole, I'll let you start off with this.
Yeah, Ty Jordan is quickly becoming one of my new favorite offensive players.
Over Keithy.
No, not yet. But I'm just glad that I feel like we have someone that's beginning to separate themselves from the rest of that rushing committee. And he's outplaying upperclassmen, which is really impressive to me. And I think it's because he understands.
He's not like other backs, I feel.
No, he's not. I think he is Moss-esque, Moss-like, in that every single play, every single down matters to him, regardless of what he's doing. If he's getting the ball or not, he's making smart plays. And last night against Washington, we already touched on this. He had 97 yards on the ground on 10 attempts. That is almost a first down for every single time he was running the football, which is unfortunate. Again, kind of what I said earlier, the coaching staff needs to start giving this kid the ball more. I mean, 10 attempts, that's pretty good. But the fact that he had to share so many other attempts with the other two guys that were less than desirable, I'd say.
I think the thing is with the Utah running backs is all of them do different things.
Yeah.
Like Ty Jordan and Jordan Wilmore, I think, are more fast backs, and I think Brumfield's more of like a bruising back. So I can understand why you would run Brumfield when you're on the goal line.
Right.
As opposed to running Ty Jordan or Jordan Wilmore. I can understand why you do that, but then I think it also depends against the defenses you're playing.
Right. Well, and it forces the defense to second guess themselves and make it, in-game adjustments where it's like, okay, Ty Jordan just scorched us for 10 yards. Here comes a completely different back in Brumfield and Wilmore. But anyways, going back to Ty Jordan, he also had 31 receiving yards, which was the second most by any Utah receiver last night. So it's clear he can not only take the football, out of the backfield, but he's also a pretty good receiving option, which I like. Yeah, and some of the things that I've started to see, there's small glimpses that make me think, could this be the second coming of Moss? Because he's not only similar in size and nature, but his play style. And Coach Witt said last night in the press conference, he's going to do big things and have a great future for this program.
I will add this about Moss before I let you continue on. I was reading the post game stats and stuff and facts. Ty Jordan put up the most yards as a freshman in a game since Zach Moss did it when he played San Jose State. My bad. That I feel like that's good. I like that. I like him. I think he's great.
Well, and think about Zach Moss was doing it against San Jose State. Jordan just did it against Washington, who was supposed to have one of the best rushing defenses in the Pac-12 with all their linebackers and such. So I'm really impressed with him so far. So that's my little spiel on Ty Jordan. Sammy, I know there's a couple other freshmen that you've been impressed with so far.
I've been impressed with Ty Jordan. As of right now, he's one of my offensive MVPs of the season because he's just so good. I will say he's already this season. Ty Jordan has 129 yards and he's averaging 6.7 yards or 7.6 yards per carry. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That's putting you into second and manageable or third and short, depending on when you put the ball in his hands. But I'm more impressed, as much as I am impressed with Ty on the offense, I'm more impressed with a lot of the guys in the secondary. I talked my crap about the Utah secondary a lot last week and also a lot preseason. And I will say there's 3 guys on this secondary that are looking really good in my opinion. So the first one is Fabian Marks. Yes, he had the interception for 28 yards last night, and then he also had a second one. I like him. I think that he's going to be good. He wears number 23. Do you know who also wore number 23 at Utah? Julian Blackmon. And I think that he has the level to be up to where he might be as good as Julian one day. I'm really impressed with what he's done in the 2 games. We didn't see much of him in week 1 against USC, but last night we saw him and he had a big impact, right from the jump. I'm also really impressed with Nate Richie. He up to this point in the season, he's had 12 total tackles, 7 of which are solo, and he's had half a tackle for loss. it's hard to play safety in the Pac-12, I feel, because there's so many really good wide receivers, and I think Nate is really good. People like Whittingham preseason was comparing him to Chase Hansen. I think that he might get up to that level. Like, it's going to take, like, we're going to have some growing pains with the secondary, which is what I'm going to talk about with my third person. We're going to have some growing pains, but I think this secondary is going to really shape out, and it's going to be a really good secondary. We've already seen the growth of them from game 1 to game 2. So what is it going to look like by game 4 of next season? What's it going to look like? But the third one I've been impressed with is Clark Phillips III. You know, we love him. We love him here on Ute Dash. And by we, I mean me. He's had 13 tackles so far this season. And guess what, Cole? Do you want to hear something really fun, Cole?
Yes.
All of them have been solo tackles.
Love it.
All of them, all 13. And he's had 1 tackle for loss. But has he been beat on some really manageable plays? Yes. I'm talking about that really easy touchdown that USC scored on the post that was just like he just got beat. Yes, he's gotten beat. Will he get over it? Yes. He already looked better yesterday than he did against USC. And I think that they are all looking really good. And there's a bunch of other guys that I'm not mentioning that are making good plays. You have Sione Fotu, you have Kamoile too. You have a bunch of guys out there making plays that are freshmen, and I'm really impressed with this class. This proves why this was one of Utah's greatest classes that we've ever signed, because they're making these impact plays now.
Yeah, and those 3 guys, Fabian, Richie, CP3, they have moments where their youthfulness shines through. They get beat. Fabian dropped a second interception because I think he had the end zone on his mind rather than making the full catch. And, Richie's been beat a few times on the ground. So that youthfulness shines through, but it's meant to shine through. They're freshmen, for heaven's sakes, but they as well have impressed me. Each is making big time plays that you wouldn't expect from freshmen. They're making them in the Pac-12. Like you said, a lot of good receivers. I think that, when you look at the Pac-12 offensively, it's probably better well known for its receivers rather than it's the guys coming out of the backfield, right? Except for, of course, Zach Moss in Utah. But they're in the Witt and Scally defensive system, so it just comes with the gig, and experience will benefit each of these guys. So, Sammy, I fully expect, towards the end of next season, maybe the beginning of the third season, when they're looking at maybe their junior year or whatever these guys decide to do since the NCAA has kind of frozen eligibility. We could be looking at a defense very similar to the one we've been accustomed to over the last 2 to 3 years with Blackman and Johnson and all those guys.
Burgess, a no-fly zone secondary.
Absolutely, I fully expect these guys to elevate their game and to be at that level fairly quickly.